Hello friends, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'd like to introduce a new series that I am debating on the name fully, but it will be Collective Pose or Collective Flow. What does that mean? Well, pose and flow means I'm still giving you yoga, which is the majority of the content that I wish to provide on here, but collective refers to energies in regards to tarot readings. For me, tarot has been something very spiritual and also very positive. Even when you get like scary cards, I always find a positive side to it, and I just like getting messages and interpreting them. I've been doing tarot readings for myself for about 3 years now, and just for the past 3 to 4 months I've been doing readings for other people, which is how I got to this idea of doing yoga and tarot. I have not seen an idea like this before. I did try and look it up on YouTube a little bit, but I haven't seen it. If I do find a channel that is doing something like this, I will give them some credit down below. But basically, I've already cleansed my deck, but I'm going to shuffle it to invite in the collective energy of humanity and just kind of ask the universe to give us some sort of message. And in regards to that message, I'll show you the card, I'll give you some descriptors about it, and then I will give you some movements or some poses to hold that can either enhance the great qualities of the card, or maybe combat and help you move through the darker cards. So yeah, with that, let's do this. A little bit of some details on the deck that I am using. It's a Lion Strider deck. It's watercolor. It is based off the traditional Rider-Waite type of decks. You know, with all the suits and the court cards, the major and the minors. Yeah. How I select the card, just depending on my shuffle. If a card pops out, then that is definitely the card message I'm supposed to give. Other times I will, you know, pull a top card, pull a couple, but we'll see what happens here. All right, let's see. And we have a card. First, let me clean up my little bit of mess there. Okay, so the card we have today, which seems pretty fitting for collective energy, is the Nine of Swords. We have a bright orange fox looking a little forlorn underneath the moon and a black and gray sky. Sorry, the light in here is not super great. I don't know how this is going to help. It's not a beauty swatch, but yes, that is what the card looks like, and let me tell you a little bit about it. We're getting there. Huzzah. Nine of Swords. Anxiety, sleeplessness, depression, worry, self-torment, and despair. Given the current situation of the world right now, I feel like this card is a pretty strong reflection of how a lot of people in humanity feel. The Nine of Swords is sometimes called the Nightmare card. No other card so specifically speaks to the kind of anxiety, insomnia, and physical costs that worry can have on our bodies and lives. Though this card feels very dark and negative, it reminds the Corin, that's us, that their own mind is the main cause of their current issue. Very few things are solved by incessant worry. Focus the sword of your intellect, brutality, and cut to the truth of the problem. Stop worrying and start acting. Sometimes there are things in life you cannot change. Again, in the current situation, we don't have a huge power to do a lot about it individually, but your only option may be to accept that and figure out how to move on with your own journey. And then the author explains that she chose to use a fox instead of the human that's traditionally on the Nine of Swords, for the reason that foxes are nocturnal and the night should be their place, but they look our particular fox here looks very worried about it. And this is just a reminder that humans will often rise to their fullest potential in times of adversity. So it's just a reminder that we're, you know, nocturnal in this situation, and we've forgotten our place. It's in our mind, we're clouded, we don't see that this is our time to shine and rise above. Cool. Yes, definitely a lot of what's going on in society and the world as a whole is completely out of our control. We're kind of shut in, and we're left with just really looking inward on ourselves right now, and that can be, you know, potentially not a good state to always be in. Plus, there's a lot of worries financially, health-wise, there's a lot of stress on society right now. And again, the best we can do is not worry about it. So with that, I believe the movement I want to incorporate with this card would be some cat-cow flows. Since I'm seeing orange and black, I'm thinking Halloween, and Halloweens have cats that arches their back. So that's my visual connection to it. And also, it's just a really good pose where you can link your breath with your movement and solely focus on it, and just really kind of dive in and just let that be all that you focus on. And it'll, help take your mind off of what your mind is incessantly fixating on. And it's also just a really good pose to warm up your spine and just to find a little relaxation. I always do it before I go to bed. So I will give you a little bit of a demonstration here, and with that, let's do it. So cat-cow. You want your wrist and shoulders in one line, knees and hips, and you'll start with a nice neutral spine. Spread your fingertips wide, and it's up to you. I like to rest the tops of my feet on the mat, but you can also tuck the toes if you like. It's completely up to you. As you inhale, drop the chest, slightly arch the low back, bring the gaze up to the ceiling. Exhale, press into the hands, ground the shoulders, tuck the chin. Taking the whole inhale very slowly to get to the peak of the pose. And taking the whole exhale to get to the peak of that. Go ahead and do this at your own pace. Breathing as loudly as you like, and taking it as fast or slow as you like. I recommend doing this pose for about a minute or two. Maybe do 10 of one, 10 of the other. Just breathe and focus on that as you go through. If your mind still wants to wander and it doesn't want to stay on your breath, just remind yourself that you are strong and that you have all the abilities to overcome this current experience. And that you are a nocturnal fox who simply forgot her place. But you know that the strength you're building, that fire, that warmth, that will remind you that you are meant for this and that you will overcome it. Thank you for joining me for the first collective flow. Yeah, this was a flow today. And I hope you liked it. And if you did, let me know in the comments. Let me know if there's maybe a different pose you feel that embodies this. I'd love to hear your interpretation of the movement that you feel goes with the message. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a wonderful day.